What up, what up, what up? Big excitement day. Level 60 day. 60. Day 60 of the free-to-play mystery shard account. We just got Yaga the Insatiable. Will he never be satisfied? Pretty cool, because that lines up with a champ chase tournament. Same happened with High Katoon. So it just kind of worked out that way that the past couple have come during the champ chase. $582 points. So that hasn't updated yet, but I got the 750 point reward. By the way, does anyone else think that these daily rewards, when collected, should just go to your inbox for like, I don't know, put them in there for 2 weeks? I've always thought that's kind of silly they don't do that. Or at least like, I don't know. Let these champs sit in there at least for 2 weeks. So if you want to use them for champ chase, you don't have to worry about it. This is going to be a longer video. Every 30 days or every 30 days we're going to do a in-depth progress update. Where the account is, all the gear, all the champs, masteries. Basically what I've been doing since last month. Progress missions, we're currently stuck on the gold 1. Obviously, arena is a big problem right now. Due to the points deflation, and yeah, it's kind of a mess. So we go through and we try to find the fights we think we can win. I'll show you my basic cleave in action. Okay, we got one of them down. Can we get 2? Let's kill Apothecary. And then we're just going to kill Mausoleum Mage. I mean, kill Skull Crusher. We win. So yeah, it's been a struggle in arena. I'll show you some of the battle logs. Getting hit by mostly mid-level 60s players around my level. But obviously they've been playing for longer. The matchmaking in silver is based on player power. And I've inflated my player power quite significantly with Faction Wars champs. So you see I do get some wins on defense, which is cool. Not quite enough to sustain me. I'm just going for as many easy fights as possible. And arena resets in 8 hours, so I don't think I'm going to quite make it to gold 1 this week. Here's hoping Plarium fixes the arena and it becomes a little bit easier. I've been hovering 75% win rate, basically since I started playing. Here's my Great Hall. I decided to spread it out instead of going for my main ones up to 6. Because these first levels give you a pretty significant boost in power. 2% just for like the 25 silver medals it costs. So you get a pretty decent chunk of power just off the first level. And then once you get to 4, it starts costing quite a bit more to get the next 10 points. And I'm not going to be in gold farming gold medals anytime soon unless arena gets fixed, so I figured it's better to just spread them out. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. Here's the shard situation. We got a healthy amount of shards saved up. I'm just going to quickly summon 3 champs here for my daily. And if you want to speed up your shard pulls, you can just hit summon, hit escape, and then click back in. Hit summon, hit escape, and you can do it like that. But anyways, level 58, I've used most of my energy for campaign farming, Minotaur, and barely any dungeons. Here's the roster. I moved all of my Faction Wars champs into this page, so this is a complete look at what I have. If you want to pause it and just kind of glance through. I use all these 30s as Faction Wars champs, and some of them aren't geared, some of them are. We'll kind of go through it just a little bit here and take a look at some of my champs and how they're geared. Bogwalker, essentially full booked, full masteries. He's my attack down champ for clan boss, so I gave him Sniper and Master Hexer. Gives him he's got a 55% chance with this to land his A1 attack down. Very strong rare. Very worth building if you have nothing better for that, for attack down. My War Maiden. Oh yeah, all my clan boss champs have lifesteal. Except for Apothecary. War Maiden. Looking quite nice. Got her in a hit points chest. She used to be an attack. Got a couple more books I can put on her for a bit of extra damage. Her masteries are hybrid for arena. So she's got Shield Breaker and Ruthless Ambush to help try to break through shields because she's going before my nuker. Master Hexer to try to increase the duration of her decreased defense for clan boss. Kale. Still in some of my starter lifesteal gear here. You'll notice that I make good use of these 4-star artifacts as well. It doesn't always have to be 5-star to be useful. As long as you're getting the stats you need. Fully booked, obviously. Hybrid for arena. Blood Shield for early campaign farming. It was quite helpful. Eventually, I'll transition him to a pure clan boss build, maybe. And then I'll give him Sniper instead of Blood Shield. I'll probably keep this one just because I'll use him in tag team still. But I could go to this for extra clan boss damage. Apothecary in some of my fastest Relentless gear. He's got well over 100% crit rate, so I can probably, once I get a suitable speed helm for him that has a little bit of crit and more speed, I can put him in that. His accessories need some work, but he's fully booked. And he's got Giant Slayer for clan boss, support masteries for extra healing, Lore of Steel for a little bit of extra speed. Shield Guard in a 4-star Bloodthirst set. I farmed that off the first tier of Magma Dragon last rotation. Obviously full books. War Master for clan boss. Got him in lifesteal. Gave him Whirlwind of Death. Eventually I'd like to gear him out as my solo mastery farmer. And Retribution for a chance to counterattack with some tanky stats. He does have decreased speed on his A1, but I didn't feel like it was worth investing completely into this tree just for that. So that's why I went defensive. Broadmaw, another very powerful support champion. Between him and Apothecary, they basically carry my team through dungeons. Mostly booked, just missing one on his A1. And he doesn't need to do damage. He's not there to do damage. So I gave him just tanky stats, a chance to place Leech when he freezes. More turn meter, which this I probably could have put over here. Or, not this one. This one I want. But this retaliation one, I probably could have put on lasting gifts. Not a big deal. I'll eventually redo his masteries. Timely intervention to give him just more turn meter in arena and in dungeons. My first armiger, this one's in destroy set. Some pretty decent pieces on there. I just re-geared him to have 100% crit rate because I got him to 6-star and got his accuracy banner leveled. So looking pretty good. Obviously full books. Whoops. Full books, and then I've been working on his masteries. I do masteries pretty much exclusively during Clan v Clan, because that's the only time you ever get points for it. He's going to go down to War Master, and then I'm not even going to bother. Like, eventually I might get Spirit Haste and Kill Streak, but once I get War Master, I don't really need those. So I'll probably stop farming his masteries after that. This is my newest 6-star. I saw there was a Fire Knight tournament coming up, so I decided to re-gear this guy. And then his accuracy dropped way low with the gear I put on him. But I had this accuracy banner sitting here in my inventory, and I thought, well, I could 6-star him, get the banner on, and I'll probably be able to auto Fire Knight 20 with this new setup. Obviously, there's an artifact event running right now, so I'll level this to 16. He'll be well above the accuracy he needs. He's full books, no masteries. So I started off on these ones here, but I'm kind of regretting offense. I think I want to build him defense and support. But for now, I'll just build him down here and give him War Master and some tanky masteries with a chance to counterattack for Fire Knight. My High Katoon, chilling at 246 speed. She obviously gets more speed when I level her to 6-star. I don't have another decent banner with speed at the moment. I have this one, which might actually do the trick. If this rolls speed again, hold on. I'm going to turn my RSL helper on. And then refresh the page. Oh, got to get the shop. Okay, nothing in there. So if I can get another speed roll on this, I might actually make High Katoon my next 6-star. Nope. At this point, I don't really know if it's worth bringing up to 16. But it's it's some speed and hit points for her. So it might be worthwhile. I can try rolling this up too, but attack banner's kind of meh. Plus, I need to speed tune the arena team anyway. So making her like super fast isn't going to do a whole lot for me. But anyway, that's her speed. That's her gear. She's fully booked. I'm planning on trying her out for my spider team. She's going to be defensive with... I don't know what tier 6 I'm going to give her. I haven't really thought about it. I might not even get her a tier 6 mastery, to be honest. But I'll give her some defensive stuff here. Some turn meter when the allies get crit. Maybe lasting gifts. Probably not, though. I don't think she's really worth investing masteries in right now. I've got Acolyte. I got him to 50 for the first rotation that I did of Doom Tower for the Nether Spider. I used a combination of him and Spirit Host as my cleansers, and it was just enough to squeak by. He's got no books, no masteries. Looking like a sad dude. Life Taker I use for... Excuse me. Life Taker I use for Fire Knight. Great champ for that. She's got the heal reduction. I don't have enough turn meter control to keep the Fire Knight locked down. So having a heal reduction is the only way I can kill him over time. And then Leg Bind, which has some turn meter and decreased speed. I disable this for the third round, the Fire Knight boss round, because she doesn't. That's a useless ability for her to use. I'd rather her be using the 2 and 3 hitters. Pretty decent stats, pretty decent tankiness, enough accuracy to do her job. Fully booked. And Masteries, she's not there to do damage. I'm just going to give her tanky stats with Retaliate and some extra stats with Lore Master, Lore of Steel, Evil Eye, stuff like that. Maybe one of these, maybe Master Hexer or Sniper to increase the chance of landing her decreased speed. Banshee is strictly for faction wars right now. Pretty good champ. I don't have her in the best gear. The first boss in the Undead faction wars is the one that does ally attack and basically just destroys my entire team in one shot. So I tried to put her in a daze set to sleep them, but the sleep wears off before the boss goes, and so I end up wiping anyway. She's got no books, just her first tier masteries. Whoops. Soulbond Boyer. Got her in a fast relentless set. Eventually this will be a stun set. She's fully booked. Very strong champ. Been slowly working on her masteries. It's not really a top priority right now. And I'm not too sure if I'm going to go for Fearsome Presence to, like, once I get her in a stun set, I'll probably want that. Or if I should just go for, I don't know, like War Master, because she's going to be in my Spider 20 team. Spider 20 team, here's what I'm thinking. Armiger, Zephyr Sniper as my tank, Soulbond Boyer, and then I have a second Soulbond Boyer which I can build. And I'm hoping that's enough turn meter to keep it locked down. If I have these girls in stun sets, then they'll also take some heat off Zephyr Sniper. Or I can just use the high... I want to try the high Katoon before I build my second Soulbond. And I'm hoping an entirely Spirit Affinity team will work. But we'll see. So that's Soulbond. Marquez, I'm building her up to be my arena nuker. She's taken kind of a back seat since I got her to 50. In order to level the champs I need for dungeons. But she's got some pretty strong, some of my best pieces of gear on her. Like, looking really solid. I need better boots, obviously, for more speed. But her speed is respectable for a nuker. I'll get 10 more out of a pair of 6-star speed boots. Basically 100% crit, almost 200% crit damage. And she scales on defense. So at 60, her base defense is like 1050 or something. So it'll be a nice boost to her damage when I get that. She is fully booked. She's got huge multipliers on her A2. It does one hit, applies weaken, and anyone who takes weaken gets an extra hit. And I think the total multiplier is like 7 point something between both hits. And then this 100% freeze on her A3, which is quite nice as well. Masteries. What's the next one I'm going for? I might actually do Spirit Haste on her. Because she's my carry in Faction Wars, and when the rest of the team dies, I want her to be moving super quick. So that might be a really useful one to have. But her tier 6 is obviously going to be Helm Smasher. I can't wait to build this champ. I'm almost tempted to do her as my next 60. But I think I need to do Zephyr Sniper and start figuring out my spider team. Brings me to Zephyr Sniper. She's in a trash lifesteal set I put on just to get an idea of what her stats will look like. But, yeah, she's going to be in lifesteal. She's going to have revenge accessories. So I got 1, say 2, 3 that I'll put on her. So she has a 15% chance to counter. And I'll have her in... Excuse me. And I'll have her in Retribution as well. So every time the Spiderlings hit her, she'll be the lowest hit points on the team. So they'll always want to hit her. And every time they do, I have to make sure they're taking at least 25% of her hit points. And then she'll have even a 50% chance to counterattack off that, plus 15% from the accessories. She'll have War Master and Lifesteal. So every time she counterattacks, she's basically back at full health. That's the idea. Hopefully it works. We'll see if I have the gear. She needs about 300 resistance to have a 90% chance of resisting the poisons. And you need to have high resistance. You need to resist those poisons. Otherwise, the damage is too much for her to heal through. So we'll see how we do that. Maybe I have to put a resistance chest on her. Maybe I won't be able to use this banner. I'll have to get a 6-star, 5 or 6-star resistance banner, which I'll probably end up doing. And I'll have to find an amulet with resistance sub-rolls maybe too. So I might not be able to put all revenge accessories on her now that I think about it. But I got a lot of room to improve with this gear anyway before then, so. Here's my second armiger. I think he'll work at level 50. I don't need to put him at 6-star. He'll have more health than my first armiger. Running pretty fast, 100% crit rate, decent accuracy. Got some really solid pieces on for the accuracy set and perception. So, looking pretty good. Masteries, I've started on him. Gonna go down the War Master path as well. Or I could build this one out as a dungeon destroyer and give him flawless execution. But he's like last priority for leveling at this point, unless I need to. My Gnarlhorn, he's eventually going to be locked down in one of my arena teams. So like when I get Dark Alhain, she self-buffs her attack. So I don't need to bring a Spirit Host or a Marked. Marked is obviously paired with Marquess for the increased defense. Spirit Host right now is paired with Kale for the increased attack. But once I get Dark Alhain, she self-buffs her attack. Meaning I can build High Katoon as fast as possible. Build this Gnarlhorn to be speed tuned with her. High Katoon boosts. Gnarlhorn locks down. War Maiden drop defense. And then Dark Alhain self-buff attack and nuke. And I can build Dark Alhain with attack boots and like a lot slower than I would be for my normal nukers with no lockdown. So I need to get some better gear for this guy with more speed. It's a work in progress. Right now he's just in one of my 3v3 teams. Shaman, she's just a Faction Wars champ. Eventually I'll book her A3 and get her to 6-star. Just because you definitely want a tanky reviver in a faction if you can get one. Oops. Jizzo, I will 6-star as well, eventually. He's got all the books that matter. I don't need any damage on his A1. Masteries, I'll probably go... probably go War Master. Put him in Lifesteal maybe. But we'll see. Maybe I'll just go defense and support. Give him more accuracy and tankiness. Cage Breaker or Cage Bound. Just in some trash gear for Faction Wars. I've started booking him. Because he seems like he'll be really useful in Faction Wars. But since he's a low priority, the books have gone to other people first. Another Faction Wars champ. Seems really strong. I might eventually build him out to 60. Like, he'll probably be my next Force champion to 60. And because of this move here, 60% chance to block buffs on a 4-turn cooldown. And then I'll give him Sniper. So 5% chance on top of that. And Master Hexer chance to... well, Master Hexer doesn't really matter, but I'll probably give it to him anyway. And I'll use him for Hydra, because I don't have any other block buff champs. Houndspawn and Hellfang together form a team with their secret moves. This guy has a 80% chance of landing a freeze, so he goes first. And then this guy ignores defense and block damage if the target is frozen. So they're both fully... Well, this one's fully booked. Hellfang is not. Eventually, I'd like to get them both to 60 and make a cool little 3v3 team with them and see how it works out. But for now, they've kind of taken a back seat since I pulled Marquez. Assassin is going to be one of my next 6 stars when I get the chance. He's going to slot into my clan boss team. He comes with a pretty good chance of placing poisons on A1. Increases the duration of all debuffs on the enemy on his A2. And 100% chance to land a weaken, which will greatly increase the damage of the War Master and Giant Slayer procs. Plus, he's got a 10% speed aura. My team is a speed team, so that might work out perfect. He's also a beast in Faction Wars. Another Faction Wars champ. Magus, keeping her at 40 because she's part of the rhazin fusion. But if I pull another one, I'll definitely build her out. Her A3 is like a built-in lifesteal set, and you can book it down to 4 turns. Her A1 has a 50% chance to stun, so she'll be like really useful in Faction Wars. A couple of Diabolists I have built for Faction, not fully geared. I did have them geared to pass the first boss and to attempt the second boss, but now they're just sitting like this for next time I try. Marked. I'm definitely keeping her. She is part of the rhazin fusion as well, but she's got a large increased defense for my Marquez for setting her up in arena. So that's why I'm keeping her. I've got her running faster than my nukers. Gaelic, Faction Wars champ. Spirit Host, she's in my arena team as the setup for Kale. Templar, I have him fully booked. He's going to be my Bommel solo champ. I just need to get him in a really tanky, strong, fast regen set. Another Faction Wars champ. Faction Wars champ. Faction Wars and Secret Room champ. I do have him fully booked, I think, so yeah. I'm going to build him out too and play around with him. Ogren Jailer and some crap gear for factions. Mystic Hand. Definitely going to get to 6 stars so I can play around with him. He's got this amazing HP equalization ability on a 4-turn cooldown. And he steals 2 buffs on his A2. Block buffs on his A1. Yeah, he just seems like really fun. And I know I'll use him in factions, so going to work on him. Greybeard can be used for Magma Dragon, and he's good in factions as well. Faction Wars champ. Faction Wars champ. Faction Wars champ. This guy I'm saving for the fusion, but if... Oh, I picked up a second one of him. So I can save one for Faction Wars, one for fusion. Metal Shaper, great for Scarab. I'm going to build him up and book him out if I need him. If I get lucky with my next Blood Shield drops from CVC, then I won't need to, but he's there just in case. Coffin Smasher, going to build him for Clan Boss, so I have a different affinity for attack down. I have some trouble with Spirit Affinity on Bogwalker because he weak hits sometimes, and then I have to restart the run. Yaga is not going to be built at all. He's going to sit in the vault. I have just better options for Skinwalker faction. He's not that good. So yeah. Faction Wars champ. I'm building a second War Maiden eventually for 3v3. You need 100% defense down for arena, and she's the easiest access to that. Faction Wars. Nothing interesting. Faction Wars. And yeah, the rest are just Faction Wars champs. Master Butcher. If I can't get the gear for Templar to solo Bommel, then I have this guy. and can get him to level 50 or 60. When he takes damage, he heals the team for the amount he takes. So I'll just build him super tanky, fast enough to get his turn off so he can refresh this ability. And when he dies, he revives another champ. So I'll pair him with broadmaw. I'll have multiple revives on the team. Should work out fine. Speaking of all my 3v3 teams, we'll go in and just take a look at what I'm rocking here. I'm currently in Bronze 2. But it's resetting in 5 hours, and it's very difficult to stay in here. So before I do that, I'm going to see if I have a mission for the tag team arena today. No, classic arena, 4 different affinities. Okay. So the idea here eventually is to have 2 speed teams. So I need another speed booster. Eventually it'll be arbiter. But until I get arbiter, I just have this apothecary who hopefully, I just hope is faster than the other team. And then my third team will be a go second team, which I don't have the champs for right now, but that's eventually what I want to build. So you can see marked. Marked increases defense. Defense nuke or nukes. Same with this team. Speed boost, attack up, defense down, kale nukes. This team is Gnarlhorn locks down. Bogwalker defense up. A little bit of tankiness. Soulbond Boyer decreases turn meter. Broadmaw increases crit rate and speed and turn boosts and revives if anyone dies. So it's a pretty solid tanky team that can get through a couple of rounds against most teams. Like, let's see if this one might be more interesting to show. I think this is going to be the hardest team at the bottom. So this is force affinity. Spirit affinity. So I'm going to put my magic nuker against them. And to be fair, I'm probably going to fail epically here, but this team looks like the easiest to get through. But it does have a Skull Crusher who is force. So I'll put my spirit nukers against them. And this team is the lockdown team. So I'm hoping my Gnarlhorn goes first and locks them down. And then I can turn meter wipe out the Ursula first. So let's see how it works. That's the theory. Let's see it in action. The hardest part about tag team in the early game is you just don't have the caliber or number of good champs for arena. Okay, so we got one down. Vergis is about to put up his ally protect. So now we really need to... Yeah, I don't know how to get through this now. So probably try to kill Doom Priest even though he's got the ally protect on. Because Doom Priest is just going to keep healing and cleansing. So we definitely need to get rid of him. Maybe going for Vergis was the better idea. He doesn't seem that tanky. Okay, so we get another round of defense down. And now, hopefully, our nuke can... Yeah, there we go. Doom Priest down. Now we can take out Astrolith, hopefully. Yep. And now let's see if our Kale can solo the Vergis. We'll just keep stacking these poisons up on him and hopefully it takes him out. Before I die. Come on. Come on. It's going to be close. Yeah. Okay, so we get to go first. Wiped out one. Ooh, that's rough. That is rough. If he had got a turn off before that Skull Crusher went, this would be way easier. So I'm gonna go in on I don't know if I should try. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get this Alhain some damage. Nope, weak hit. So I'm just gonna heal here because I can, and so it won't trigger an auto retaliate. And then, come on, get some damage off. That was a bad idea. Oh, why did he get 2 turns? Okay, so now can my apothec... Oh, swift parry. What the... Man, that's rough. Okay, so I lost that fight, barely. Now we got... Oh, Ursala resisted. That's not good. Maybe we can freeze her? No. Okay, maybe we can turn meter. Okay, we got that off. But yeah, this tag team becomes way easier once you get a decent roster of champs specifically geared for Arena. But until then, I just have to make do with what I have. Okay, so Abyss is going to be the main damage threat here, so I want to get her an attack down. Freeze. Nice. Boost turn meters. Provoke. Defense up. Now these two are always the first two to go down, but I just revive them back with broadmaw. And now I want to kill Kreela. Give him unkillable because he's about to come off block damage. There goes Soul Bond again. Just keep whittling away at this team until they die, hopefully. I should probably just kill this masked fearmonger, to be honest. He seems like he's not very tanky. Yeah, I'm just going to kill him. I think that's who that is, masked fearmonger. I don't think I've ever seen anyone use this champion. Like, ever. I've never seen him built. Okay, so we can... She's going to die, so I might as well decrease turn meter, even if it's barely anything there. Freeze. And I can probably just put it on auto now. So this is how I've been just sneaking as many wins as I can in tag team. It is kind of fun, like, with these long, drawn-out battles against weaker teams. Well, their teams are stronger than mine, but weaker than, like... Once you get to a certain point, you just see all legendaries and stuff like that. So, these one-person defenses are the best. I'll show you my battle log real quick after this, and then we'll move on to the next part of the progress update. I did say this is going to be a long video, didn't I? The way I have my defense set up is my weakest team first, then second, and my strongest team at the back. Most people just automatically put their first strongest team, second strongest team, and they don't switch them around when they fight. So I find I sneak a lot of these wins on the last place team here. And it's just enough to slow down my points loss and deter people. Wow. This level 67 lost all 3 fights against me. Yikes, with a Siffy and a Skull Crusher and a Sandlashed. See, he put his Sandlash in the first spot here, and it needs to be in the last spot. I wish I could just click on him and send him a message. But yeah, we're getting a decent amount of wins there. And then my attack is filled with all one-person defenses mostly. Sometimes you can't find any easy one-people defense, and I end up losing to Mashald, who gets his fears off. Or this Chagger champion I've never fought before. He just keeps, oh man, he just keeps attacking you if you have poisons on right before you get a turn, and he wiped my team. But yeah, that's my 3v3 team. I've been buying the Drex frags every day. I buy the energy as a priority, and then if I have enough points, I buy the rare book. But I always want to make sure I'm getting the energy every 7 days. Just real quick look at the challenges. I've finished all the champions, all the dungeons. I have a few left for the artifacts, and then I have the last one for the arena. I'm just going to do a quick look at the gear and what I've been keeping, what I've been leveling. I'm not going to go through every piece, but like just in general. So if you look at my 4-star gear, I actually still use quite a lot of it. But at this point, the only pieces I'll keep and level is if they're like really good epic or legendary with the proper stats, or if they're 4-star speed boots. But I still have a pretty healthy amount of 4-star gear that's really quite good and quite usable all the way through the early to mid game. And you'll see like a lot of, I've leveled a lot of gear because I use the airplane mode trick. If you want to know what that's about, I have another video on the channel about how to use the airplane mode to level artifacts very cheaply. And then we'll take a look at my best gear, my 5 and 6-star. So this will give you some idea of how much of this I've been able to keep and level. Pretty much everything is at least level 12. Got a lot of 16s in here. And this is all usually like thanks to the airplane mode trick. I have tons and tons of level 16 gear. So if you're free to play and you're not using the airplane mode, I would strongly consider doing it. It makes a huge difference in the amount of artifacts you're able to level. Like, just look at all the 16s. I've got some specialty sets of stuff I don't level, but I keep in case I need one piece for the set bonus. I don't have much cruel or immortal gear yet, because for most of the time I was in a solo clan. It was only like last week I joined a full-time clan, so now I'm getting double chests on Nightmare. Lovely collection of perception starting. Just some materials that I'm hanging on to until next Clan v Clan. I'll show you my progress in Faction Wars. We're at 384. I'm past the second boss in Lizardman. I'm past the second boss in Barbarian. I'm farming legendary materials on Dark Elf. And I'm farming legendary materials on Demon Spawn. The rest are at a point where they're farming epic materials, except for Undead and Ogren. And that's because, as I mentioned before, it's the boss that does the ally attack. Attacks one enemy with 2 random allies. And the damage is just too much for these weak champions to manage. So I have to get a couple level 60s in each of these factions before I can get past the first boss. And to me, it's not worth the investment at this point in time, so they'll just be farming stage 6 on auto every time they're open until I get like a nice carry champ that I need to level up for a different purpose. And then I'll start pushing onward. But you can see most of them are, the others are around 20, 23 stars, 24. Sacred Order is on the cusp of moving up to legendary materials. And every day I just take a look. I see if there's any upgrades I can make that will do a significant change in my progress. If there is, I'll try it out. If not, I just auto farm whatever stage I can and continue to stack glyphs, which I'll show you. Glyphs and forge materials. So real quick before we go to glyphs, I'll show you how many accessories I have. You'll notice lots of blood shield and some reaction as well, and that's because I've been winning CVC with the clans I've joined. But we got a pretty solid selection of accessories. We're obviously still missing some key pieces, so that's the main reason I'm working on my spider team, because I want to get to spider 20 as quickly as possible so I can start farming my end game accessories, the 6 stars. Like, having the 5 stars is great. It gets you through the hump of like the early to mid game. But what you really want is those, because they're so expensive to level, you want those really nice 6-star accessories that are going to last you all the way through the game. So Spider 20 is a really good thing to focus on as early as possible. And it's just hard on a mystery shard only because you have to use specific strats that don't involve Paragon or Gnarlhorn and Painkeeper or AoE HP burn. Here's my glyphs. I use a bunch of glyphs every clan v clan. I'm saving all my 5-star and 6-star once I get them for Ramontu missions eventually. And my 4-star speed glyphs are very valuable as well. So I choose only gear that I know I'm going to keep till endgame. But I got a nice healthy amount of glyphs. These 1 and 2 stars are expendable. I just roll through and put them on everything on a champ that I'm building. And it just adds a little buffer of stats. These 1-star speed glyphs are also very valuable for speed tuning clan boss eventually. So I don't want to use too many of those because once they're gone, I won't be able to get any more unless I drop down and farm the super easy faction war stages. So I got to keep an eye on not using too many of those. Clan boss, we've got a key available, so let's hop in. Nightmare, I'm doing 4 key on Nightmare. Force is my worst affinity. So today I got 1 key in on Void, which was like 12 mil. And then 1 key on Force, which was like 9.5. So I'll show you the team. Looks a little bit like this. And the problem with Force is that he crits my magic affinity and kills him quickly. And Kale can weak hit his poisons. So we'll do a run. Hopefully we get good RNG. I'll show you how I manage the run. Because once you get to a certain point, I kind of need to jump in and manual a bit sometimes. And it's basically just an RNG fest. If Kale gets hit low and he gets his turn off and he doesn't get a War Master proc to heal him back to full, I either have to stop and manual Apothecary to heal him so that he doesn't die on the next turn, or, you know, I have to restart. So there's a lot of RNG involved. Bogwalker's A1 is only 50% chance to land attack down. So there's another point of RNG where if he doesn't land it, like, see, there's no attack down. Doesn't really matter at this stage of the fight, but once you get to stage, like, turn count 14 or 15, not having attack down means Kale dies. So there's another point of RNG failure for the run. Eventually, like I said, I'll be leveling Coffin Smasher. And then when it's Force... No, when it's not Force Affinity, I can throw Coffin Smasher in there for a little more reliability and a bit of damage soak. Eventually, I will put my Apothecary into a Toxic set, perhaps. And then he can start adding some poison damage. And when I do that, it'll also allow me to speed tune the team. so that I can have increased defense up for both AoE smacks and reduce the damage that way too. But I'm getting like on average 500k per turn. So as the run goes, I'm watching this. And if I sink far below 500k per turn, I know it's not going to be 4 key. So like at this point, 500k per turn, that's good. I should be able to get at least 9 mil as long as I don't get some bad RNG. Like those weak hits on the poisons, those are rough for the damage. Counterattack accessories are huge for early game clan boss damage. And especially for your A1 attack down. If it's not a 100% chance, it just gives you so many more chances to get that landing. So here I'll have to be careful. If Kale doesn't get a War Master proc, it might have been a time where I would stop and make sure Apothecary heals him. Because we're starting to get to the turn where he could get one shot. So I only need to get about 9 mil for this key and the next key to be able to get my... Okay, so Kale's almost going to die now. So I take off auto. If he doesn't get War Master, which he did, I would have had Apothecary heal him instead of what he's going to do now, which is increase speed and speed boost. Throw it on auto for a bit more. Attack down is up. That's good. Kale dies anyways because he's weak affinity and he got crit. So now it becomes an issue of, do I get enough War Master procs to hit my 9 mil? And to be honest, I don't think I'm gonna, so. But we'll see. We'll see. Okay, so now I need to manual Apothecary to heal himself instead of doing his speed boost. And he got an extra turn from Relentless, which is great. Okay, so Apothecary might survive the next hit, but War Maiden definitely won't. Yeah, so Apothecary survived there, which is good. And now we hope that he can get another turn off before the next smack comes down, which I don't think he will. Oh, yeah, he will. Okay. So we'll heal Apothecary. He takes the stun. That's cool. Defense down. Attack down is up. Okay, now Apothecary's dead. Attack down is still up, but I think Bogwalker's going to get one more turn before the clan boss goes, maybe. So I'll save his increased defense. Oh, maybe not. That was probably a bad idea. Anyways, the thought there was save his increased defense for now so that it would last a bit longer, but that did not work out. And I paid the price for it. So this is close enough to 9 mil that I'm comfortable with it. And my next key, I might have to micromanage it just a little bit more to make sure I get the amount that I need. Where are we? Yeah, so 30.69. And I need 39.16. So I need 39.2. As long as I get 8.5 mil, basically, I'm good. And I just realized that my music hasn't been playing this entire time. It's frozen, apparently. That's unfortunate. Let's see if I can turn it on now. Okay. I'm definitely not gonna... I don't know how to edit videos and stuff, so it's just gonna be what it is, and y'all are gonna have to deal with it. But for any new people, I usually have this music playing during the whole update. Okay, the final area that I want to touch on... Well, sorry, there's two areas I want to touch on. Doom Tower. The first rotation, when I started, I made it to floor 50, which I think was the Griffin. It was the Eternal Dragon rotation, and I made it to the second Griffin, which I couldn't beat. Last rotation, the second rotation, was Bommel. I made it to floor 90, and then I couldn't beat floor 90 Bommel. I did pull a Master Butcher like 3 days before the rotation ended, but I didn't really want to rush invest in him in case I still couldn't beat him after. So I just left it. This rotation, I think I'm going to push for my first normal Doom Tower clear. And the only boss that I believe will give me problems is Nether Spider. I don't know if my cleansers are strong enough to survive as long as they need to, but we're definitely going to give it a shot. In terms of secret rooms, I'm at 24 fragments out of 100 for Archmage, so I've finished in total 6 secret rooms. I should be able to do probably 8 or 9 this rotation, so I'll be up to about 50 out of 100. Drexthar, I'm almost halfway as well. Another 2 months, we'll say, and I'll have him. He's going to be incredible for the account. He'll definitely be on my spider team, and I'll change my entire spider team setup to include him. So it's kind of sucks that I'm building all these champs like Zephyr Sniper, you know, maybe a second Soulbond Boyer, just for spider, when I know eventually I'll be changing to an HP burn comp. But it is what it is. Can't really do much about it if you want to progress on this mystery shard journey. So Doom Tower's looking good. Getting some great progress there. I'm level 15 on all these potion keeps. Easy, easy. Level 15 Minotaur. At this point, I farm with a core group of 3. And even this guy gets changed for like that. Core group of 3 can make it through. And then I just add whoever I want Masteries for. And I always make sure that they can gain experience. That way it just kind of gives me double benefit from running Minotaur here. Ice Golem's Peak. The last one I did was 19 on manual. Now that I have Runic Warder 6-star, I probably still can't do 20 on auto. The problem with 20 on auto is I don't have enough resistance on my broadmaw to resist the decreased defense, and it takes Kale too long to chew through the minions, and I end up taking too much damage from the boss. So what I'm thinking here is I either I build a second apothecary and put him in a toxic set, and that'll be enough damage to slowly tick down the boss, or I just leave it as is and I put a resistance banner on broadmaw. But that means I have to 6-star ascend him, and for the arbiter missions I need a 6-star void champ to ascend, which would mean I'd have to level another void champ to 6-star, and my only real options for that would be Stoneskin, the Ogren that you can fuse, or my Cage Bound, which, since those two are just Faction Wars champs, I feel like it's a waste of resources to bring them to 60. And like, Ice Golem isn't a very important dungeon for me to be farming on 20 anyway, until I get to that point in the Arbiter mission. So I just haven't pulled the trigger on that. I can do it. I could probably do it on semi-auto, using the cursor to target the main boss until I get attack down up. and then untarget them so they'll go back after the minions. But like I said, Ice Golem is very unimportant to me right now, so I haven't bothered with it. Dragon 20, I'll show you the run. This is probably the most important dungeon. So this is my team. I've got 3 of them in lifesteal and 2 of them in tanky, fast, relentless. War Maiden drop defense, Kale to do some damage, Shield Guard to do some damage. And it's typically the waves here that take the longest amount of time, because these guys are going to kill Kale, then they're going to kill Shield Guard, and then broadmaw is going to revive them, and so it goes the whole way through. So you get the idea. I'm going to pause it and then bring you back in at the end in just a moment here. Okay, so we're at the boss. Usually, I don't think anybody really dies on the boss, but it does come close. But I've run Dragon 20 maybe a dozen, maybe 15 times by now, and it hasn't well, it's failed once. So I must have just got really bad RNG with apothecary heals, and with poisons perhaps. So we'll see how this goes. It looks like it's gonna fail, right? But for some reason it doesn't. Maybe this will be the run that does fail. As long as apothecary heals broadmaw, then broadmaw's around to resurrect anyone that dies. But I think if the apothecary heal goes to someone else and then broadmaw dies, then the other people die soon after. And I'm getting like pretty bad poison RNG here, so we'll just have to see how this goes. Because everyone else has lifesteal and War Master, it'll either be apothecary or broadmaw with the lowest hit points after an attack. So, except, yeah. So Kale should heal up here, and then it gets back to apothecary. Yeah, apothecary is going to heal Kale. So that's probably where the run fails, if and when it does. But it looks like they'll be able to get through this. Those relentless procs are quite nice. And the last bit of poisons will take him out. So yeah, it's only failed once in like 15 plus runs. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That could be useful on a destroy set. That is... I'll keep it just in case I need a daze set. But that's my Dragon 20. Kale and War Maiden doing the bulk of the damage. And finally, Spider. Well, not finally. We've got one more, actually. I can auto 14. So that's alright. That's one of the upcoming arbiter missions once I can get through the arena missions. I tried 15 on auto. The weak hits kind of screwed me over, but here's my team. Does it look familiar? I reuse a lot of these champs for everything. But yeah, this is how I have my team set up. The spider gets turns off because I don't have any turn meter control. But the AoE damage is enough to take out the spiderlings enough that I don't die. And like I said, when I'm moving on, I'm going to be making an all spirit team with Zephyr Sniper as a tank. So that'll be perfect for the next 3 stages. And then stage 18 will be the difficult one to get past because Armigers and Soulbond are going to end up weak hitting sometimes on their turn meter. And if the spider gets a turn, then everyone takes damage, and Zephyr Sniper will be the tankiest with lifesteal, and then she'll stop getting targeted. So I'm hoping I can manual my way through 18, but we'll have to see when we get there. And then again, 19 and 20 will be back to fine because there's no weak hits, and Zephyr Sniper will be tanking. Fire Knight, I haven't tried 20 yet since I upgraded my Runic Warder. So just for fun, let's go in here and give it a shot and see if the upgrades have done anything for our success. Now here, I can, even if you're doing the arbiter missions, you can click on a champion to target. So I'll target Errol because he does a huge amount of damage. So I want to freeze him if possible. And if not, I just want him to die first. You can see my team is very squishy. Okay, so he's been frozen, so now I'll move on to this guy. And now back to Errol because he's unfrozen. So this is probably what I'll end up having to do when I do the stage 20 on auto for arbiter missions. But once I get arbiter on this account, I'm then able to open my shards. And then I have specific rules in the description below on what I can use and how I unlock champions. So one of the rules is once I've beaten a faction level 14, I can unlock a champion from that. Oh, this could be bad. So I'm just going to take it off auto here because see if I can bring this back into equilibrium. I need to resurrect Apothecary. Yeah, okay. Speed boost, heals. So clearly I'm not quite ready to auto this, but I have the pieces available. I just need to do some gear upgrades. Maybe get my life taker to 60. Finish leveling my runic warder to 60. Maybe switch Kale out with an armiger would be better. I don't know. This is really sketchy though. Okay, the run ends. So not quite ready for that. But I have defeated... Obviously I've done 19 on manual. I can auto 16 when it comes to Fire Knight tournaments. Which is... For an account this far along on a mystery shard only, that's good enough for me for now. Obviously I'll have some upgrading to do for 16 or for 20 there. So that's it for dungeons. I think that's pretty much my entire account summarized. Most of my efforts are going into champ training because level 60s help me out more than anything else at this point. And on a mystery shard account, you need to level like 3 champions to 60 to take the place of one solid legendary or epic that you can use everywhere. Like, you need to have different teams for Fire Knight and Spider than you would for any other part of your progression. Whereas if you pull a champ like Geomancer or Mashaled or Lysandra, or Draco, they end up being in every team that you create. So yeah, it's been an interesting experience. Last thing I guess to go through would be just a quick overview of the champs I've collected. The ones I still want. I want to farm a Valerie. I need 2 of these for rhazin fusion. Let's take a quick look at rhazin. So I'm missing 1, 2, well, I can farm her, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I need a double Gnarhorn because I'm keeping the one I have now, and I need another marked because I'm keeping the one I have now. Other than that, they're all ready to use. So that was Bannerlords. High Elves. I've got pretty much every rare except the one I really want for damage for faction, which is Alhain. Sacred Order. I really want an Aethel for an AoE damage dealer for faction. Castigator looks interesting. Equalize hit points is always a really useful utility. Plus he's got that A1 provoke, which could be helpful. Got a couple Armigers, obviously, which are going to be huge. Barbarians I have probably the most champs leveled up in. Way more than I'll need for the faction, because obviously once you get Syl, she just solos the entire faction for you. But I've leveled a Shield Guard, I'll have a Zephyr Sniper, I'll have 2 Soulbond Boyars, 2 War Maidens, I'll have a Marked. So yeah, I'm very barbarian heavy, unfortunately. I've got High Katoon. Ogren Tribes. Not really missing any that I care about. Roughstone is nice for a stun set. So once I build Ogren Jailer, maybe Pounder, Siegebreaker, Flesh Eater, Rock Beast. When I get another one, I'll have a pretty solid Faction Wars team. You get Grush eventually as well, which is huge for the faction. I've got Broadmaw and Jizzo here, Bogwalker, Metal Shaper, Cage Bound. Those are all solid champs. Saurus, he's good for a stun set and a campaign farmer. Skinwalkers, I've got Yaga, who I won't use. I've got Gnarlhorn, who I want. Ideally, I'd have 1 for Rhazin Fusion and 2 that I'll build. Fleshmonger is the one I really want from this faction as my damage dealer. I have a Greybeard who I'll probably build out. Blood Painter is also nice with his turn meter boost, his poisons. Who was the... Oh, Yaga. Try to clear these red dots as I go. For Orcs, we have Tree Feller we just picked up. Doesn't look incredibly useful. Has a bomb. That's my first bomb champ. That might be worth noting. I've got Gallic already, so him and War Chanter will be my AoE DPS. War Chanter has some lockdown as well. Raider's pretty decent. Ironclad's pretty good with his cleanse. Chopper's good with his stun. There's a couple decent options here I can work on building. I've got Shaman as well that I'll build. Demon Spawn, I'll be getting Drex in a couple months. I've got 2 Diabolists at level 40. I'll build those both for the faction. I've got Houndspawn and Hellfang that are on hold right now. Marquess is going to be 60 soon. And then Hellborn Sprite and Hellfreak are really interesting niche champs for specific things. I would love to get an Abyssal. He's a great champion. Can make good use of him in Faction Wars. Undead Horde. Gravechill. Really want a Frozen Banshee to pair with her to start a new clan boss team around. I've got a couple Banshees, which are nice for Faction Wars. I would love a Grinner for Faction Wars with his Revive. Oh, and I'll have Dark Alhain in a month or 2 months as well. Wherever she's at. Yeah, she's going to be huge for the account. And Dark Aethel. I could also build her. She'll probably work out better than some of these champs would for the Faction War. So we've got some good options there too. Dark Elves. I've got a Judge, a Kale, a Mystic Hand, a Spirit Host, a Wanderer for Faction Wars. Hexweaver would be a nice support to sub in for Wanderer. But I wouldn't feel bad about leveling all those guys to 60. And then eventually we'll get a Vizix, which is insanely powerful on this account. And Lydia too. I mean, probably a year and a half from now. But here we're missing... Crimson Slayer's decent for Fire Knight, but I don't really need her. Guardian is... I think he's the one with block active skills. Block buffs. Where's the one with block active skills? So maybe it's block buffs I'm thinking of to use for the Vulk waves in Faction Wars. Arcanist is a decent support. I'd love to get a second Magus so I could build it for Faction. I'll probably build an Executioner for Faction. I'm going to get Coffin Smasher to 60 for my new Clan Boss team. And I've got an Ad Monitor and a Shield set just for some protection to get me through some of the wave content. Dwarves, I've got a ton of Dwarves. Runic Warder obviously is 60 for Fire Knight. I'd love to get an Avir, great support champ for Faction. Flailer doesn't look like much. Candleguard is a good AoE DPS for Faction. Dolor is another support. Madman, AoE DPS. Master Butcher, supportish with a provoke. Hatchet Slinger has the block damage. That unkillable, which you can cheese some stuff with. Keep him low level. He'll get targeted. His unkillable goes up. And you can get through a wave like that with them targeting him. And then when you get to the next wave and he dies, you can have Master Butcher die next and revive him. And then, yeah, then you need a revive. Never mind, forget that. That doesn't work. But yeah, Master Butcher there is good for soaking damage and healing the team. And finally, Shadowkin. We've got two of the best rares here. Odachi would be the one I'm looking forward to the most. Very strong champ. Nice tanky support. Vagabond for his increasing turn meter, block buffs. Ala increase attack, sleep on his A1. So I've got 2 copies of Assassin, 2 copies of Vagabond, and 1 Life Taker. So I'll probably build most of those out to 40 at least, and then I'll have an Assassin at 60 for my new Clan Boss team. And yeah, so that's the long update for today. My 30-day update. Still having a blast on the account. Loving the challenge. I just wish they'd fix Arena, because it's depressing how long it takes to upgrade your Great Hall when you're only getting like 50 silver medals a day. On my main free-to-play, I was in Gold 4, getting like 100 to 150 gold medals per day by day 30. So like from day 30 on, even if I'm getting 100 gold medals per day, you know, 3,000 gold medals that I'm losing, or that I haven't gained, that I would have gained had I started at the right time. But that's neither here nor there. We just work with what we have and keep going. And with that, I will leave you. If you watched the whole thing, you are a crazy mofo, but I appreciate it. And if you have any comments, things you'd like to see in the next 30-day update, or whatever, you leave them below. And I'll see you in the comments. Bye.